Welcome back, agents, to another episode of Prime Tips. Hey, this time we're not really talking about the scanner. We're talking about the game. We're talking about Biocards. Now, Biocards are not really part of the game per se, but they do figure into the game and they can be used to your advantage if you know how to use them. So I'll give you a little information about that. Now, what are Biocards? Well, basically a Biocard is a card that is sort of like a business card, but not your business card. It's your Ingress card. So a lot of Biocards are Biocards for players, and they will have something like this. You may recognize this agent. So there's one of my Biocards from like 2018. So it'll have their information on it. On the front, usually their name, a picture that could be them, and it tells you some information about that particular agent. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be an agent that you play with. It could be someone like good old Red Solo Cup. Andrew Krug, great guy, was community manager for many years. I think I ran into him and got this one in Chicago. So it tells you information about that agent on the back. That information could be truthful information about that agent, their history. It could be their part of the lore, how they got into the lore, and lore is huge. It's the backstory of Ingress, and it can affect how Ingress plays. So different things, different events might be affected by lore. So here we have information about this particular character on the back, information about him. Now, how does that, help you in the game? I mean, sure, I've got that agent's name. Well, usually when you get these cards, you're going to meet that agent in person. So you're probably going to meet that agent at like maybe an anomaly or mission days or something like that. And you'll probably talk to that agent when you get that card. And usually that agent will have on the back information about where they play, what they do, things of that nature. So if you have an operation and it happens to be in a place that you know that this agent, say Agent or Traveler 5, is from, you might be able to contact that agent on the back and say, hey, we need some help, or would you like to be a part of this operation? So they kind of are used like business cards or Ingress cards. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to have the picture of the agent. Okay, here's good old Agent 1017. He's from north of me. He's got something about Malort. So if you want to do anything about Malort, I know this is the guy to talk to. And he's on the wrong side, but he's still an all right guy. Then we got Agent Goonie Guy. And a good example about Goonie Guy with his card, he was, still is probably, I don't know, with Agent Academy. I was a host with Agent Academy with him for about a year or two. It's kind of gone into hiatus. So, hey, Goonie Guy, if you're listening, we need to start up Agent Academy again. But the cards themselves, most of the cards started with something like this, which would be a character card. So these are characters that are part of the Ingress story. And these cards, as like some other cards, on the back, and I'm going to make sure I cover this up, will have a code. And so that code will do something. In the case of these character cards, it will put a badge on your scanner saying that, hey, I have met this particular character, and usually get some other information, some other thing about it. So it used to be the only way that you could get these cards were that you had to meet that character in person at an event. And so that's why it was a big deal to have these in your inventory. It shows that you were at an anomaly or something and you ran into P.A. Chapeau or whatever. And then if you put that code in, that would go in as a badge. So the codes themselves are not only for those. You could have codes for other things. For instance, the November Libre 1331 or the XM van, doing research and things of that nature. I think I got this one at a 1331 event. So again, this code that I have my finger over puts that as a badge in my scanner so that you know that I've been there. Okay, it could also be an event or a thing. Here we have behind the scanner. That's something that Andrew Krug did. Red Solo Cup. That was a podcast that he did a long time ago. Here's another podcast one, Agent Academy podcast card. And again, on the back, it'll have information about Agent Academy and how to find them and things of that nature. Sometimes you get cards that are not really Biocards, not that are just unique. And this is a very unique card. You probably won't see this one very much. This is a card that was actually packaged with phones from 2013 to I want to say 2015 or so, Android phones. Ingress was one of the pre-installed apps. Now, we always complain about, oh, there's a bunch of pre-installed apps. But it was a pre-installed app because the game was new. And this card explained a little bit about Ingress. And it had a code. So this card actually would give you gear and things of that nature. So cards can come on about a lot of things. These are the cards that are of a tactical advantage. These are called loadout cards. So you may have rare, very rare cards, and those cards will have different things that they give out. And I'm going to make sure I cover up a code here because I may not have used this card. So with this particular card, it looks as though we have Aegis Shields, a Jarvis Virus, an Ada Refractor, Heat Sinks, and things of that nature. So these cards, the loadout cards, usually you got them at an anomaly or it could be another event. And usually since it was an anomaly, you always need a lot of gear at the anomalies. A lot of players would take this card and just redeem it right away and away they go. That wasn't the best move because these cards have a way to, I guess you could say, teleport gear. Now, what do I mean by teleport gear? Well, if I'm working on an operation and I have an agent that I'm working with that's 100 miles away, and say he's in a battle and he's trying to take down a portal to drop a link, and he or she is running out of gear. If this card has not been used, all I have to do is give him that code. So I can text him that code or call him whatever and say, put this code in your scanner. Bang. They've got all of this gear and away they go. Also, it's a way that you can hold stuff that may fill up your inventory. So you could use that to get that whenever you want. Now, if you're interested in cards, there is a website that has a lot of things on cards. You can see that some of those might look familiar. The website is ingress-cards.com, and they have a way that you can look at all different types of cards. You can look at the front and look at the back of the card. And they have different categories of their cards. So they have just a regular old agents. So this is A to Z, agents that have put in cards. So these are just some agents that have been out there and have given their card into this system. You can also look them up. So you can look at cards that deal with the Enlightened. So these are cards that deal with the Enlightened. Could be a team, could be a member, could be an event. And cards that deal with the Resistance. So these have something to do with resistance. So it's a resistance card from Amsterdam Abaddon. Here could be a card about an individual resistance player. There are cards that dealt specifically with events, such as First Saturdays. Now, when First Saturdays were in person, a First Saturday was a big event, so you had to go a long way to get to it. So here is Istanbul in November, and I'm going to guess that's November of 2019. So that tells information about why they met there, what they're doing. Could have information of where you need to go to get things. Could be other events that you're looking at. So community events could have a card. And the question is, who makes these cards? Well, there are templates that allow you to make cards, and you can save them, and then you can have them printed, and then you trade them just like you do with anything else. Teams may have cards, and that's a good idea. So if I have a team, say, I don't know, the A team here, which is an enlightened team, Looks as though they're from Warsaw. These are cards that you could have handy with you, and when you run into a player in the field and they're like, hey, I'd like to join up with you guys, drop them a team card, and then they have that information handy, and away you go. In a NIA events, so not things that are anomalies, but things like a dead drop or a 1313, all these different events could have a card. Cards that are just for fun, cards that are just, Agent Mulder, Agent Scully. All right, looks like somebody did one of Andrew Krug, and it looks like we've got all kinds of weird cards there. So they could just be for fun. And then, of course, mod cards. These are the ones that are a little more serious, so to say, because these are the ones that basically are gear on a card. So this is an old one from 2013 that had an Ada refractor. So it looks like this is a loadout type card. And so I'm guessing that card is long done because that was 2016. And again, keep in mind that these cards are usually single-use cards. So you probably see code there. If you try that code, I'm guessing it's not going to work because it was a single-use card. So there you have it. Cards, they're things that can help you out and things that you can help out others. So hopefully I'll see you in the field sometime, and maybe I'll give you